Hey people, I welcome you back to another video in which we're solving previous year board examination question from the chapter accounting for share capital. In this video, I've taken a question from compartment 2018, Manvet Limited. Question: Manvet Limited invited application for 10 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each, payable as follows: an application and allotment rupees 4 per share, which includes premium portion also. On first call rupees 4 per share, and on second and final call rupees 3 per share. Applications for 15 lakh shares were received and pro rata allotment was made to all the applicants. There's no rejection. All the applicants have got pro rata allotment. Excess application was to be adjusted against the sums due on calls. So we got to use excess application money for the amount due on calls. A shareholder who had applied for 6,000 shares did not pay the first and second and final call. The shares were forfeited. 90% of the forfeited shares were reissued at rupees 8 per share fully paid up. So this question has premium. There is some default. There is a defaulter and there is forfeiture. And as you can see, the defaulter has all of the shares have not been reissued. There is partial reissue. And it's only given the number of shares applied by the defaulter. They have not given the number of shares allotted. So these are the challenges that we are facing in this question. Let's go ahead and do this. So first, it's the books of Manvet Limited. Oh, sorry. Journal. Serial number, date, particulars, ledger, folio, debit, and credit. Alright, my dear children, the first journal entry is as usual, bank account debit to equity share or share application account. Nothing wrong if you wrote equity share application account. Share application is fine. And they are not mentioned if it's equity or preference share. So to share application account. Application money received. As you know, we have received 15 lakh applications, and that will be multiplied by the amount received on application, which is 4, and therefore it is 60 lakh. The second journal entry would be to allot shares, equity share allotment account. Or not equity share allotment, just share allotment account debit to share capital account with whatever was supposed to be received along with application money on the allotted shares to securities premium account. And we're going to set off the excess application money against calls. So I'm just going to write to calls in advance. Understood? Shares allotted. If the excess application money was more than what is due on calls, then we'll have to refund that, and that will go to bank account. I'm not sure if it will be the case. So I assume that it's not going to be. If it is the case, then I'll just add another row here like this and then write to bank account. In what you can do is you may not write the narration, you can just leave it blank for now and go ahead and do it. And if the excess application money is more than what is due on the calls due, then you can take that excess of what is more than what is available as excess application money to bank account. For now, let's just leave it here. Share allotment account will be debited with 60 lakh rupees and share capital account will be credited with the capital portion of the application money into number of shares allotted. The number of shares allotted in this question is 10 lakh, my dear children. So 10 lakh multiplied by What is the capital portion? 4 rupees is receivable as application money. Out of that, 1 rupee is premium, which means what, my dear children? Remaining 3 is the capital portion. So that will be 10 lakh into 3, which is 30 lakhs. Securities premium is what, my dear children? Out of the 4, 1 rupee was premium. So the premium portion will be credited to securities premium account. And whatever is left is calls in advance. What is left is 60 lakh minus 30 lakh minus 10 lakh, which is 20 lakhs. The amount due on the calls is, if you see, 7 rupees is what is receivable as capital in first and second call, 4 plus 3, 7. And that multiplied by 10 lakhs is 70 lakh rupees. But we only have advance of up to 20 lakh rupees, which means this 20 lakh is not sufficient to cover even the 70 lakh that is actually receivable. And therefore, it is definitely not in excess of what is supposed to be received. And if it is not in excess, that will not be credited to bank account. I mean, nothing has to be refunded. 20 lakhs can be adjusted against a calls in account. So we just write shares allotted and close it. And moving on, we make the allotment money first call money due. So journal entry share first call account debit to share capital account. Share first call money made due. So that is what, my dear children, 4 rupees per share on the 10 lakh shares. And we also have to make a note of the fact that while receiving first call, there is some calls in arrears. Okay. But now we are only making due. And on the 10 lakh shares, we are making the first call money of 4 rupees per share due. So that will be 10 lakh into 4, which is 40 lakh. And now it's time to receive the first call money. And we know that there is some calls in arrears here. So equity share first call account debit. Share first call account debit. And calls in arrears account debit, as we have calls in arrears. Calls in arrears account debit to equity. Share first call. I made an error here. Well, receiving journal entry, receiving what should be debited? We are receiving money. So money in the bank is increasing. Bank is increasing, it's an asset and therefore it will be debited. Why? Right, so received first call money. How much is that, my dear children? Just give me a second. Alright, so we have some excess application money to be adjusted against calls. As you can see, we have credited calls in advance with 20 lakhs. And the shareholders defaulted the call which has the excess application money when there is excess application money. So we got to do the working note as usual. If you remember the yellow working note. Now there is no premium portion, so we don't have to bifurcate into premium. And we change these numbers in this question. Alright, my dear children. So the excess application money available is what, my dear children? Total amount of excess application money available is 20 lakh. This 20 lakh is for 10 lakh shares. Am I right? What is the total number of shares allotted on pro rata basis? The 20 lakh divided by 10 lakh will give the excess application money per share, which is 2 rupees. And it's not allotment money in this question, it is first call money. First call money due per share was 4 rupees, my dear children. So first call money receivable on for the share is the money due minus the excess application money already available. So 2 rupees. The total calls and arrears would be the number of shares held by the defaulter multiplied by the amount receivable on first call. In this question, they have not given the number of shares held by the defaulter. They only told the number of shares applied for by the defaulter. The defaulter has applied for 6,000 shares. You multiply and write the number of applications made, and in the denominator you write the total applications on which pro rata allotment was made, which happens to be 15 lakh. And in the numerator you write the total applications on which total shares that were allotted on pro rata basis, which happens to be 10 lakh. And now what happens, my dear children? Zeros cancel, 5 zeros here and 5 zeros here. What you're left with is 10 into 6,000 divided by 15. This goes 1 times and this goes 4 times. We are left with 400 into 10, which is 4,000. Am I right or not, my dear children? They are left with 4,000. So the shareholder was allotted for 4,000 shares. Understood or not, my dear children? 4,000. So it is on this 4,000 shares that he had defaulted. The total calls and arrears here is going to be 4,000 multiplied by 2, the amount receivable, which is 4,000 into 2, 8,000. And therefore, the calls and arrears is 8,000. As I've already told you, we're making use of the calls in advance here, right? So calls in advance account will also be debited. Sorry, I forgot that when I made the journal entry. We have some calls in advance, right? So that will also be debited. And calls in advance is how much, my dear children? It's 20 lakh rupees. So 20 lakh rupees. And share first call will be credited with the full amount due for 40 lakh minus 20 lakh minus 8 lakh is what has been received by the company. So 40 lakh minus 8,000 minus 20 lakh is 19 lakh 92,000. That is the amount received by the company. So that's it. And then now we got to make the second call due. The question has told us to do that. Yeah. He didn't pay the first call and the second final call, which means we made the second call due and he didn't pay that. So we're making the second call due. And second call journal entry will be what, my dear children? It will be share second call account debit to share capital account. And that is how much, my dear children? 3 rupees per share. Second call is 3, and we have not forfeited any shares. So the entire set of shares will be made due. So that will be 10 lakh into 3, 10 lakh into 3, 30 lakhs. Now, in the second call, we don't have any calls in advance. We've made use of all the excess application money available in first call itself. In first call, the total amount due was 40 lakhs, but we had only excess application money of 20 lakhs, and that was made use of by us in the first call itself. So for the second call, we don't have any calls in advance, but we do have calls in of the shareholder who defaulted. So the journal entry will be bank account debit, calls in arrears account debit, to share second call account, share second call money received. I'll be what, my dear children? You credit the share second call account with the entire amount due, that is 30 lakhs, and calls in arrears is very simple in this case. The number of shares held by the defaulter, which is 40,000, multiplied by the amount receivable on those shares in this calls, which is 3. And so that will be 4,000 into 3, which is 12,000. And bank will be 30 lakh minus 12,000, which is 29 lakh 88,000. Now we got to forfeit the shares of this person as instructed by the question. They say that his shares were forfeited. Shares were forfeited, and 90% of the shares forfeited were reissued at rupees 8 per share as fully paid. So there is forfeiture and reissue. The first thing to do would be to forfeit. Now in this question, is that premium? Whenever we forfeiting, we got to understand if there is premium and if it has been paid or not. There is premium, and the premium was received along with the application itself. And our shareholders started defaulting from first call only. And understood. So our shareholders actually paid the premium portion, and if the premium portion has been paid, it will not be debited while forfeiting the shares. So share for capital account will be debited to share forfeiture account. Sorry. Forfeiture account will be credited and calls in arrears will be credited. Calls in arrears account. Shares forfeited. A share capital account will be debited with the amount made due into number of shares forfeited. The number of shares forfeited is 4,000. The shares of the defaulter multiplied by the amount called up. Capital portion called up is 10. We have fully called up. So the face value has been called up, so it's 10. And therefore it is 4,000 into 10, 40,000. Share forfeiture will be credited with the amount paid up. So we'll not go to that now. We'll keep that as a balancing figure. Calls and arrears will be credited with the amount credited to calls and arrears. In second call, we have credited 12,000, and in first call, we had credited 8,000 for this shareholder. So the total amount credited to calls and arrears account will be 20,000, and share forfeiture account and then therefore would be 20,000. Understood or not? And these shares have been reissued for rupees 8 as fully paid up. So there is a discount there. Fully paid up means face value paid up, which is 10 rupees, and they've only reissued it for 8, but considering it as 10 rupees paid up, so 2 rupees discount has been given. And whenever there is discount, the journal entry for reissue is what, my dear children? It's bank account debit, share forfeiture account debit to share capital account. Understood or not? To share capital account. Shares reissued. It's reissued for rupees 8, so 4,000 shares have been reissued for rupees. 90% of the shares were reissued. Not all the shares were reissued, my dear children. Only 90% of the shares have been reissued. So 4,000 shares, out of the 4,000 shares, 90% is what? 3,600. So 3,600 shares have been reissued for rupees 8. Understood or not, my dear children? So 3,600 into 8, 28,800. And the loss on reissue is 2 rupees per share. So that is 3,600 into 2. The loss on reissue will be debited to share forfeiture account. That is a discount on reissue, and it is reissued as fully paid up. So 3,000 to 10, which is 3,600 into 10, 36,000. Now the next thing to do would be to pass journal entry for profit on reissue being transferred to capital reserve. But as you all know, when there is partial reissue, before we do the journal entry for profit on reissue, we got to do the working note, my dear children. So share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve account. That is the journal entry. Profit on reissue. The working note is simple. It is, one second. Profit on forfeiture per share less loss on reissue per share. That will give us profit on reissue per share. The profit on forfeiture per share is what, my dear children, is the total profit on forfeiture. That is the amount credited to share forfeiture account when we forfeited the shares, the amount actually paid up by the shareholder. 20,000 divided by the number of shares forfeited. So 20,000 divided by 4,000 shares. That will be what, my dear children? 20,000 divided by 4,000 is 5 rupees per share. The loss on reissue per share is a discount given by us while reissuing, which is 2 rupees in this case, as the shares were reissued for rupees 8 as fully paid up. So 10 minus 2 is 8 is 2. And the profit on reissue per share would therefore be 5 minus 2, which is 3 rupees. The total profit on reissue on the reissued shares is what, my dear children? Number of shares reissued, which is 3,600 into 3, which happens to be 10,800. Understood or not, my dear children? So with that, we've come to the end of this video. Please like, share and subscribe, my dear children. If you understood this and if you like the videos, kindly do like, press the like button, share and subscribe. We will also show you the answer as per the board. Alright, so this is the answer, my dear children. Equity share application to allotment 60 lakh, blah blah. Same thing. First call, bank account debit to, calls an advance account 20 lakh to equity share cap. You can do it like this, or bank account debit, calls an arrears account debit, calls an advance account debit to equity share. First call, we did it like this, and then we have the making the second call due, receiving the second call with calls and arrears, and then we have the forfeiture entry, which was the same for us. No, here I had credited calls and arrears account. Yeah, that is also allowed. See, you can either do it like that or do it like how I did it. I always use calls and arrears account instead of bifurcating them into calls, because that's easier to understand. And so forfeited shares account, calls and arrears account, you put that here, and the 40,000 you put it in share capital, and then you reissue it, and then this is the profit on reissue. Everything as per the CBSE solution. You completed everything as per the CBSE solution. So with that, we've come to the end of this video. We'll catch up with you guys, people, with another video from another question paper from the chapter accounting for share capital. I hope these videos are being useful to you. If it is useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any doubts or if you want to say something else, please do comment below the video. See you again. Bye.